Mr. Pugh, good to see you today. Recently, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron decision that will prevent agencies from ignoring congressional intent, and it takes away the agency's ability to loosely interpret statutes for rules. Just the past 2 years, we have seen some ridiculous rules come down from DOT and other agencies. This includes WOTUS, speed limiters for trucks, greenhouse gas emission rules, just to name a few. Do you think that the regulations that were done based on, that these regulations have been made based on congressional intent?
No, I don't think most of these have been made. Some of these you're talking about congressional content at all. I think there's certain folks out there who want these kind of things, whether it's to take away independent or small businesses advantage for a profit or something like that. I mean, the speed limiter rule, that was said, FMCSA said that it will put small business carriers at a competitive disadvantage to large motor carriers. So again, I think a lot of this stuff comes to serve special interest groups who maybe don't have any experience in commercial trucking, or they have it, but they're just on the other side from like drivers and my folks.
Do you think that these rules will withstand a court challenge if they weren't clearly gaining congressional intent?
Well, we'd like to think they won't, but I think with this whole Chevron doctrine and this just passing, I'm not an attorney, I'm a trucker, but I think we have attorneys who work for us, and I think this is going to take 10, 20 years maybe to see how this all plays out, but We'll see.
Hopefully they get overturned. Earlier this year, the EPA finalized its rule titled The Final Standards to Reduce Greenhouse Gas Emissions from Heavy-Duty Vehicles, model year 2027 and beyond. This is phase 3 of the greenhouse gas standards for heavy-duty vehicles. And it will force a significant number of trucks to become electric. Can you expound on how this rule is going to impact your industry?
It's going to devastate our industry. Again, as I said earlier, tractor-trailer trucks are way different than cars, and maybe this technology can be argued it works somewhat in cars, but it's far from mainstream with trucks. Trucks right now, there's nowhere to really fuel them. No one really has a way to address how we're going to recharge these trucks. Small business carriers like myself, I park my truck at my house all the time. So this means when I want to go home or park my truck, I need to put in a very expensive charging system in my truck. Not to mention these trucks weigh 10,000 pounds more than their diesel counterparts, which means they will haul less of a payload, which means by hauling less of a payload, you're going to put more of these trucks out there. And in fact, in my personal opinion, they could have an opposite effect and actually cause more pollution.
Is this technology even available at this time?
Not that I know of. I mean, there's trucks out there testing and the companies out there who've introduced them. But as far as, I don't know any carriers or anybody that's going out and buying these things en masse. Because again, where do you fuel them? There was a trucking company in Illinois that was going to get like 32 units for their company. The city reached out to them and asked them what they were doing because they needed so much electricity. And they told them that they were putting in these electric trucks. And they said, well, you can't do it because your trucks are going to draw more power than our entire city does from the power grid. We don't have the electricity to give you.
Yeah, I think that in general, we have an energy demand problem in the United States. And this, I think, would only exacerbate that problem. My final question is that I understand there's an attempt to impose an additional underride protection requirements on trucks. So we have the rear protection, but this advisory committee looked at it, and they're trying to require underride protection on the sides. How do you see that working?
Right now, I don't see it working. First of all, there's not really good data even saying how many of these accidents there are and how much they would prevent. There's not been any real world testing, and the committee that you're speaking of that they threw together was had way more safety advocates on it than it did trucking, and they didn't even come to a consensus at the end of this. And they ignored the facts of railroad crossings and off-road and other operational challenges of these underride guards.
Thank you. My time has expired.